With record-breaking temperatures outside, I'm staying in the workshop where I can pretend it's already October. And if I'm going to be inside anyways, I might as well get a head start on Halloween. So today, we're making a vintage-inspired Halloween candy bucket. My name is Katora, and you have found the Mythical Makers Workshop. For this project, I'm keeping the materials simple. Most of them are inexpensive, easy to find, and you may already even have a few of them lying around. Everything starts with a classic pumpkin bucket. To give it a little more height and help it feel like old vintage decor, I'm attaching a miniature tree collar to the bottom with masking tape. I found mine at the Dollar Tree, but anything similar will work just as well. To hide the seams where the two pieces meet, I'm gluing on a half-round EVA foam dowel. It's a small detail, but it helps the bucket look like one solid piece instead of two parts joined together. Before adding any texture, I like to sketch directly onto the bucket. One little trick I use is working on what would be normally the back of the pumpkin bucket. That way, the molded jack-o'-lantern face doesn't compete with the design I'm creating. Now it's time to start building up the shapes. Rolled aluminum foil is perfect for this because it's lightweight, easy to adjust, and lets you add curves without adding too much bulk. Once I'm happy with the shape, I lock everything together with masking tape. Next, it's time to make the lid. I'm using an old cereal box for the base. This gives new life to something that would have otherwise been recycled. I use the same process for the cat sitting on top of the lid. The body is shaped from aluminum foil and wrapped in masking tape. A 2-inch styrofoam ball makes a quick and easy head. Once I finished the cat, I glued it to the cardboard lid, which is now covered in masking tape. And added a strip of EVA foam underneath. This will act as a guide to keep the lid centered on the pumpkin bucket. After using it, I think I'd actually recommend making that strip from a cereal box cardboard instead. It is a little more rigid than the EVA foam, and that should help against wear and tear. because it is Halloween. Our little cat obviously needs a tiny witch's hat. It just wouldn't be complete without it. Now it's time to add some texture. For this project, I'll be using 2 different kinds of paper mache because I like the contrast that they will create. The miniature tree collar and the cat's little witch hat will get a few layers of your classic newspaper paper mache technique. Everything else will be covered with Celluclay, which is an instant paper mache that only needs water before it's ready to be used. Before adding water, I like to break up any dry clumps so it mixes together more evenly. When I'm mixing it, I'm aiming for something about the consistency of oatmeal cookie dough. The one thing I really like about Celluclay is that it is pretty forgiving. If it is a little too wet, just mix in a bit more Celluclay. If it is too dry, just add a splash of water until it feels right. Ah, the perfect forbidden oatmeal cookie dough is now ready. If you already have your favorite paper mache clay recipe, that will work just as well for this project. The tools I reach for the most are pretty simple. A silicone spatula to help spread the clay. A butter knife works well for smoothing large areas. A small sculpting tool is perfect for adding some small details. And I always keep a damp rag nearby to keep my fingers clean, and a spray bottle with some water in it just in case the clay needs some help smoothing. I like to start with a thin layer of clay all over the entire project. This will lock everything together. As I get the first layer of clay on, I want to ask you a quick favor. If you're enjoying the video, giving it a like really helps the channel out and lets us know that you would like to see more projects like this. And if you're excited for Halloween like we are, make sure you're subscribed. Patrick and I have been filling the workshop with all kinds of spooky builds, and we can't wait to share them with you over the coming months. Once the first layer is dry, I can start building the pumpkin's face and give the cat a little more personality. The nice thing about a project like this, it doesn't have to be perfect. Vintage Halloween decorations were full of simple shapes and charming imperfections. If your pumpkin is a little lopsided or your cat has a little extra character, I would call that a success. Those little handmade details are exactly what gives this project its vintage charm. After everything is sculpted, I let it dry overnight with a fan before moving on to painting. With the clay completely dry, it's time to smooth out a few rough spots. I'm using 100 grit sandpaper to knock down the rough spots without sanding all that beautiful texture away. Those bumps and imperfections are part of what gives handmade projects their charm. Next comes a coat of tinted gesso. I like to tint my gesso because it is much easier to see where I have already primed and where I still need to go. Once that is dry, it is time for my favorite part, adding color. For this project, I'm keeping my palette nice and simple. A few shades of orange, yellow, purple, black, and a little white are all it takes. Limiting the number of colors helps capture that vintage Halloween feel. Sometimes less is more. To give the tree collar a little extra personality, I'm painting on a simple diamond pattern around the base. It will add a little more visual interest without taking away from the rest. From here, it's just a matter of cleaning up the lines and slowly building up the colors. The cat gets a dry brushing from purple to black. Then I use some light yellows and oranges to add some highlights and bring out the detail on the pumpkin. And just like that, our vintage-inspired Halloween candy bucket is almost finished. Thank you so much for spending some time with us in the workshop today. I hope this project reminds you that you don't have to have fancy materials or years of experience to make something you'll look forward to decorating with every Halloween. Now it's time to give our cat its tiny little witch hat and check out the final reveal.